Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. This is going to be August/September book releases I'm excited for, and if I counted correctly, there are 9 books that fit this release schedule. And so these are just 9 books that I personally have heard of and I'm planning on reading, I'm excited for, things like that. There are so many other releases happening in these 2 months, but these are just ones that I'm personally interested in and that I feel like I want to share. A lot of these are sequels, so obviously when it's a sequel I won't be able to necessarily explain what that book is, but I would explain what the first book is just in case it piques your interest. So the first book that comes out on August 2nd is The Feeling of Falling in Love by Mason Deaver. I actually have an arc of this through Eldawise. I don't know if that's how that's pronounced, but I do have an arc of it, so I might be reading this before the release date, if not, probably shortly after. So essentially in this book we follow Neil, who he has to fly across country to go to his brother's wedding, and originally he was going to bring his best friend Josh as like a +1, but when Josh reveals that he has feelings for Neil doesn't feel those feelings and all that. So instead of bringing Josh, Neil brings his roommate Wyatt, and then while they're on the trip, there's feelings that are developed. I have loved the 2 books that I have read by Mason Deaver. I think I actually have the one somewhere behind me. Like, I loved I Wish You All the Best, and then I also loved The Ghost We Keep, which I read earlier this year, so I really hope I enjoy this, because then it would be 3 for 3 for Mason Deaver on like enjoying their books. On August 18th, there is A Duel with the Vampire Lord by Elise Kova. I don't know much about this, but I loved the first 2 in this series. Basically, this is the 3rd book in the Married to Magic series, where they are a series of standalones that take place in the same world, and this is the 3rd book. I will just read the description on Goodreads, since I don't know that much about it, and I kind of want to go in knowing no more than this description. So, on the night of the blood moon, the vampire lord must die. Florian's position as the forge maiden of the hunter's hamlet is one of reverence, for it is her skill that arms and protects the vampire hunters. She knows her place and is a faithful servant to the master hunter and her community until the night of the blood moon, until her brother is dying at the hands of the vampire lord Ruvan. Wanting to defend her home at all costs, Florian fights the vampire lord, ready to give her life if it means taking his. But Ruvan doesn't want to take her life, he wants her. And basically, she's kidnapped by him, and yeah, that's basically the rest of it. And it is a darkly reimagined Snow White meets the inspiration of Beauty and the Beast in this epic fantasy world of hunters, vampires, and curses that run deeper than blood. So yeah, that's basically that book. Again, I love the first 2 in this series. I think I gave them each 4 stars, so this one I will probably be trying to read as soon as possible, but my August TBR is already huge and I haven't even finalized it, so we will have to see. The next book that is coming out is Shattered Souls by Beck Michaels on August 30th, and that is the 3rd book in the Guardians of the Maiden series. The first book is Divine Blood. This is the exclusive paperback edition, but essentially in Divine Blood we follow Dinah, who every 10 years, I think it is, there is this shadow monster creature thing that comes to her village and kills a bunch of people, and it has now been 9 years since that last happened, when her a bunch of her family, including her mother, father, and brother, were killed, and Dinah wants to find a way to get rid of this shadow monster. So Dinah decides to travel to find this solution. Her cousin Zev joins, as well as a celestial named Cassiel, who they meet along the way. And this is like one of my favorite young adult, like epic, like high fantasy. The world is amazing. The characters I just love so much. I mean, I have the 2 white editions of the 2 books that are out, the exclusive edition of the second, and then I have the exclusive edition of the first and the third ordered, and like they're on pre-order. So I love this series so much. As soon as I'm able to get my hands on Shattered Souls, I will be reading it. I might be getting an ARC because I was on the ARC team for the first two, but uncertain if I'm still going to be on the ARC team or not. But if I am, I will literally be dropping everything to read that book. It is one of my most anticipated for the rest of the year. And also on August 30th is All of Our Demise by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. I have it's right there. The first book is All of Our Villains, and essentially in this, every generation, the 7 families in this town compete in a competition to the death to basically figure out who's going to control the magic of the town, and we are following four of these people competing. And the only difference to the normal competitions is that there was this tell-all book created by one of the family, like by somebody from one of the families, that has now brought this town to kind of like almost being like a popularity thing, and so that changes the aspect of this newest competition. I loved this when I read this in January. I gave it 5 stars, and so I'm really excited for All of Our Demise. I need to see if I can afford to pre-order book 2, because like I'm broke, so I can't really afford to buy that many books, but I might try to buy book 2 so I can read it maybe in September, but we'll have to see. And on September 6th, the American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas is coming out. This is the kind of sequel to The Spanish Love Deception, but it's more of like a companion novel. But essentially in the American Roommate Experiment, we have Rosie, who she quit her job and has decided to be a full-on like romance writer. But when something happens to Rosie's apartment and she has to wait for it to get repaired, she ends up staying at her best friend Lena's apartment. But little does Rosie know that Lena's cousin Lucas has already been staying there, and Rosie has been stalking Lucas on Instagram for the last few months. And so yeah, it's like a romance. I decently enjoyed The Spanish Love Deception. I think I gave it 4 stars. So this one I am kind of excited for because I love the like forced proximity and like sharing an apartment. Forced proximity at its finest. I probably described that book horribly, but that's basically what I could rehash out from reading the description. I actually did not read the description of this book until just now, so yeah. Also on September 6th is the Sunbearer Trials by Aiden Thomas. I am not going to explain this book, because I'm refusing to read the description because I want to go in completely blind. All I know is it is a Mexican-inspired fantasy about like Mexican gods, and it's queer, and I have it pre-ordered. I've had it pre-ordered for months. I'm literally dying to read it. I will 100% be reading it in September when it arrives. But yeah, I loved Aiden Thomas's other 2 books, which are right here. Gave them both 5 stars, so I really hope this will be a 5-star read. But yeah, again, not really gonna describe it because I don't know what it's about. I pre-ordered it without knowing what it's about, besides it's Aiden Thomas. On September 13th is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This is the sequel to Once Upon a Broken Heart. And in Once Upon a Broken Heart, we follow Evangeline, who basically when the person she's in love with is revealed to be married to somebody else, she ends up like reaching out to Jax, who is the Prince of Hearts, to do something. I can't remember exactly what it is, god damn it. And then she ends up traveling to this other country for this like thing. Again, I can't remember. And all I remember is I gave it, I think, 4 stars. I really liked the first book. I'm brain farting on how to describe the first book, but I am really excited for this because I really loved the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. I really enjoyed Once Upon a Broken Heart. You wouldn't think, because I can't describe it, but I think I liked it so much that my brain is like, you can't describe it, it's And so I'm really hoping I enjoy this. I probably will wait for my library to have a copy and request it from there, but I also might, so yeah, or I might, yeah, I'll probably borrow it from my library, because it's not like a series I have to own, but it's one I want to read physically, because I read the first 4 books by Stephanie Garber, because like Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After are like sequels, or like it's like a sequel series, but for Caraval, I'm making no sense. I'm tired, apparently. Also on September 13th is Defend the Dawn by Bridget Kemmerer. In this book, we are following Tessa, who, in this country, there is this illness, and there is a cure, but it's very, like, only the rich have it. So Tessa knows how to make this, like, cure, and so she distributes it to people. And then we also follow Prince Cork, who is obviously the prince, and paths collide, things happen. Tessa ends up being like an apothecary at the castle, and there are things revealed, and I don't know how to describe this. My brain is forgetting how to describe things. But I absolutely loved the first book, which is Defy the Night. I don't know if I mentioned that. But I'm really excited for Defend the Dawn. Again, I might borrow it from my library, or I might wait a few months and buy it myself, because I do really want to own Defy the Night. So I might wait so I can buy both of them together and then reread the first and then read the second back to back. Maybe. I do also remember enough of the first to just go into the second book, so I'm not really sure. And then the final book that is coming out in September, on September 27th, is Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco. I had this book pre-ordered. Essentially, the first book is Kingdom of the Wicked. Essentially, in the first book, we follow Amelia, and when her twin sister is murdered, Amelia wants to figure out who it is, so and then she ends up accidentally summoning Wrath, who is the Prince of Hell, and Amelia is just trying to solve her sister's murder. I gave Kingdom of the Wicked 5 stars, and then Kingdom of the Curse, which is book 2, 5 stars. So I'm really, really hoping that I love Kingdom of the Feared. Again, I have this pre-ordered. I will probably be reading it in October when it arrives, because shipping takes forever, so it'll take probably like a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe for it to arrive to me. So that will be one that I'll for sure be reading in October. But let me know what are some August or September book releases that you're excited for, or if you're excited for any of these. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And so yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!